Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you've had a super Tuesday. I hope you've tried your hardest on all your learning this morning and ready for another edition of Storytime with Mr. Cole. I hope you listened yesterday. If you didn't, jump back on the YouTube channel because there's yesterday's chapter. But to save me from waffling, I'm just going to get started. Okay, a little bit of waffle. Yesterday was brilliant. I loved yesterday's chapter where we met Herod Sale for the first time. We also met Mr. Grin with the suspicious scars from mouth to ear. Ooh. I can't wait to find out what happens next. Let's go for it. Okay, it's Looking for Trouble, our new chapter. Alex saw it the moment he opened his eyes. It would have been obvious to anyone who slept in the bed. But of course, nobody had slept there since Ian Ryder had been killed. It was a triangle of white slipped into a fold in the canopy above the four-poster bed. You had to be lying on your back to see it, like Alex was now. It was out of his reach. He had to balance the chair on the mattress and then stand on the chair to reach it. Ooh, don't do that at home, kids. Wobbling, almost falling, he finally managed to trap it between his fingers and pull it out. In fact, it was a square of paper folded twice. Someone had drawn on it a strange design with what looked like a reference number beneath it. Here is the image of what Alex found. There wasn't very much of it, but Alex recognised Ian Ryder's handwriting. But what did it mean? He pulled on some clothes, went over to the table and took out a sheet of plain paper. Quickly, he wrote a brief message in block capitals. Found this in Ian Ryder's room. Can you make any sense of it? Then he found his Nintendo DS, inserted the Nemesis cartridge into the back, turned it on and passed the bottom screen over the two sheets of paper, scanning first his message and then the design. In a matter of microseconds, the image would appear on the screen of Mrs. Jones's computer in London, along with the time and the location from which it had been sent. Maybe she could work it out. She was, after all, meant to work in intelligence. Finally, Alex turned off the Nintendo, then removed the back and hid the folded paper in the battery compartment. The diagram had to be important. Ian Ryder had hidden it. Maybe it was what had cost him his life. There was a knock at the door. Alex went over and opened it. Mr. Grin was standing outside, still wearing his butler's uniform. "Good morning," Alex said. "Grr." Mr. Grin gestured, and Alex followed him back down the corridor and out of the house. He felt relieved to be out in the air, away from all the artwork. As they paused in front of the fountain, there was a sudden roar, and a propeller-driven cargo plane dipped down over the roof of the house and landed on the runway. "F Grin guy," Mr. Grin explained. "Just as I thought," Alex said. They reached the first of the modern buildings, and Mr. Grin pressed his hand against a glass plate next to the door. There was a green glow as his fingerprints were read, and a moment later the door slid soundlessly open. Everything was different on the other side of the door. From the art and elegance of the main house, Alex could have stepped into the next century. Long white corridors with metallic floors, halogen lights, the unnatural chill of air conditioning. Another world. A woman was waiting for them, broad-shouldered and severe, her blonde hair twisted into the tightest of buns. She had a strangely blank, moon-shaped face, wire-framed spectacles, and no makeup apart from a smear of yellow lipstick. She wore a white coat with a name tag pinned to the top pocket. It read, "Vol." "You must be Alex," she said. She must be Felix, she said. "Or is it now I understand Alex, yes? Allow me to introduce myself. I am Fraulein Vol." She had a thick German accent, or slightly dodgy accent, if you're listening to me read it. "You may call me Nadia." She glanced at Mr. Grin. "I will take him from here." Mr. Grin nodded and left the building. "Do you have a mobile?" Vol asked, holding out her hand. "Sure." Alex handed it across. "I'm afraid I will be keeping it until the end of your visit. A security measure, you understand." She slipped it into her pocket. Alex was sorry to see it go. Not being allowed a phone at school was bad enough, but here, in the middle of Sale's compound, he felt lost without it. But it was too late. Nadia Vole had already set off, talking as she went. We have 4 blocks here. Block A, where we are now, is administration and recreation. Block B is software development. Block C is research and storage. Block D is where the main Stormbreaker assembly line is found. Where's breakfast? Alex asked. You have not eaten? I will send you a sandwich. Herr Sale is very keen for you to begin at once with the experience. She walked like a soldier, back straight, her feet in black leather shoes rapping against the floor. Alex followed her through a door and into a bare square room with a chair and a desk, and on the desk, the first actual Stormbreaker he had ever seen. It was a beautiful machine. The iMac might have been the first computer with a real sense of design, but the Stormbreaker had far surpassed it. It was black apart from the white lightning bolt down one side, and the screen could have been a porthole into outer space. Alex sat behind the desk and turned it on. The computer booted itself instantly. A fork of animated lightning sliced across the screen. There was a swirl of clouds, and then in burning red, the letters SE. The logo of Sale Enterprises formed itself. Seconds later, the desktop appeared, with icons for maths, science, French, every subject, ready to be accessed. Even in those brief seconds, Alex could feel the speed and the power of the computer, and Herod Sale was going to put one in every school in the country. He had to admire the man. It was an incredible gift. I leave you here, Fraulein Vole said. It is better for you. I think to explore the Stormbreaker on your own. Tonight you will have dinner with Herr Sale, and you will tell him your feeling. Yeah, I'll tell him my feeling. I will have the sandwich sent in to you, but I must ask you to please not leave the room. There is, you understand, the security. Whatever you say, Mrs. Vole, Alex said. I like the way Alex stays calm. He's undercover with some suspicious characters, but he's so chilled out. I think Mrs. Jones and Mr. Blunt made a good call sending him. I trust him. I'm not worried for him now. He's calm, cool, collected. The woman left. Alex opened one of the programs and for the next 3 hours lost himself in the state-of-the-art software of the Stormbreaker. Even when his sandwich arrived, he ignored it, letting it curl on the plate. He would never have said that schoolwork was fun, but he had to admit that the computer made it lively. The history program brought the Battle of Port Stanley to life with music and video clips. How to extract oxygen from water? The science program did it in front of his eyes. The Stormbreaker even managed to make geometry almost bearable, which was more than Mr. Donovan at Brooklyn had ever done. Next time Alex looked at his watch, it was 1 o'clock. He'd been in the room for over 4 hours. He stretched and stood up. Nadia Vole had told him not to leave. Uh-oh. But if there were any secrets to be found at Sale Enterprises, he wasn't going to find them here. He walked over to the door and was surprised to find it opened as he approached. He went out into the corridor. There was nobody in sight. Time to move. Oh, Alex, be careful. Block A was administration and recreation. Alex passed a number of offices, then a blank, white-tiled cafeteria. There are about 40 men and women, all in white coats and identity tags, sitting and talking animatedly over their lunches. He had chosen a good time. Nobody passed him as he continued through a plexiglass walkway into Block B. There were computer screens everywhere, glowing in cramped offices, piled high with papers and printouts. Software development. Through to Block C, research, past a library with endless shelves of books and hard drives. Alex ducked in behind a shelf as 2 technicians walked past, talking together. He was out of bounds on his own, snooping around without any idea of what he was looking for. Trouble, probably. What else could there be to find? Oh, that seems like a good place to leave it until the second part of the video. But Alex, please be careful. I wasn't worried, but now I am. Right, prepare for video 2.